How to build a millionaire mindset from scratch in 30 days. Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that everything you've been taught about money, success, and prosperity was only half the truth. You did everything society told you to do, studied, worked hard, followed the rules, yet deep down, something still feels missing. You look at people who seem to attract wealth effortlessly, and you wonder, what are they doing differently? What do they know that I don't? Let me tell you something powerful. What separates millionaires from everyone else is not luck, talent, or opportunity. It's mindset. A millionaire mindset is not about having money. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts it. And the truth is, you can build that mindset from scratch, starting today. This video is not about theory or motivation for 5 minutes. It's about reprogramming your mind completely, rewiring the way you think, feel, and act toward money, abundance, and success in just 30 days. I'll guide you through the exact process used by the world's wealthiest and most fulfilled people, from Elon Musk and Oprah Winfrey to Jim Carrey and Warren Buffett, people who built their empires from nothing but belief, vision, and unstoppable mental discipline. So take a deep breath, because after today, you'll never see money or success the same way again. Let's begin. Topic 1. The Awakening. Why your current mindset limits your wealth. Everything starts in the mind. Every millionaire, every empire, every world-changing idea, all of it began as a single thought. The problem is, most people live their entire lives thinking someone else's thoughts. They inherit beliefs from parents, teachers, media, and society, and never question them. Thoughts like, money doesn't grow on trees, rich people are greedy, I'm not good with money. These beliefs, repeated thousands of times, create an invisible prison around your potential. If you truly want to build a millionaire mindset, the first step is awakening, becoming aware that your mind has been programmed for limitation, not prosperity. Think about it. If your subconscious beliefs are negative, no matter how hard you work, your mind will sabotage you. You'll attract opportunities but unconsciously push them away. You'll make money but quickly lose it. You'll have dreams, but never take the final step. Why? Because deep down, your subconscious still believes you're not meant to be wealthy. This is not your fault. You've simply been conditioned. As children, we observe how our parents talk about money, the stress, the fear, the arguments, and we absorb that emotional energy as truth. By the age of 7, your financial programming is already written into your subconscious script. If you grew up hearing, "We can't afford that," or "Money is hard to make," you're carrying those lines in your mental code even today. Now, here's the revelation. You can rewrite that code. Neuroscience has proven that your brain is not static. It's neuroplastic, meaning it can change and rewire itself through focused thought, emotion, and repetition. The same way a computer can be reprogrammed, your mind can be rewritten for abundance. But awakening isn't just intellectual, it's emotional. You must feel the contrast between your current state and your true potential. Ask yourself, what if the life I've been living isn't my real limit? What if the version of me that thinks, "I can't," is just an outdated illusion? Because that's exactly what it is, an illusion built by repetition and fear. Millionaires are not born, they're built. They go through this awakening, this painful realization that they've been thinking too small, playing too safe, and believing too little in themselves. Think about Jim Carrey, who once lived in a van with his family. Before becoming one of the world's most successful actors, he wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered and dated it 5 years into the future. He visualized that check every single day, until, almost to the date, he received a check for $10 million for Dumb and Dumber. Was it magic? No. It was mental alignment. He awakened to his own potential and lived as if it were already true. The same awakening happened to Oprah. She wasn't born wealthy or connected. She faced unimaginable hardship, poverty, abuse, discrimination, yet her inner vision never broke. She once said, "The biggest adventure you can take is to live the life of your dreams." That statement isn't poetic, it's practical neuroscience. Your brain follows the image you hold most consistently. If that image is scarcity, you'll live scarcity. If that image is abundance, your entire system will align to create it. The first step in your 30-day transformation is awareness. Over the next few days, observe your thoughts. Notice how often you think about money with fear, worry, or limitation. Catch yourself in the act, and don't judge it, just notice it. Every time you catch a limiting thought, replace it with one of power. Instead of, "I can't afford this," say, "How can I afford this?" Instead of, "I'll never be rich," say, "I'm learning to attract wealth more easily every day." Those simple shifts begin to rewrite the script of your subconscious. Because here's the truth. You cannot solve a problem from the same level of thinking that created it. To build a millionaire mindset, you must rise above the old programming. You must see yourself as someone capable of extraordinary things. That's not ego, that's alignment. As you go through this transformation, you'll notice resistance, inner voices that say, "This isn't real," or "You're fooling yourself." Those voices are not your truth. They're echoes of the old identity fading away. Don't fight them. Observe them like clouds passing through your mental sky. The awakening is the beginning of freedom. It's the moment you realize you are not your thoughts. You are the thinker. You are not your circumstances. You are the creator. Once you understand this, your entire world begins to shift. You stop chasing money and start attracting it. You stop trying to prove your worth and start embodying it. And that's when everything changes. Not because the world outside suddenly transforms, but because you do. This is where the journey begins. The old identity dies here. The new one is born. From this moment on, you're not just a person who wants wealth. You're someone who's learning to think, feel, and act like wealth itself. And that, my friend, is the foundation of the millionaire mindset. Topic 2. The Law of Mental Reprogramming. How millionaires train their minds for abundance. Once you've awakened to the truth that your old mindset was built on limitation, the next step is to reprogram your mind. Consciously, deliberately, and consistently. This is where transformation turns into creation. You're no longer a victim of old beliefs. You're the architect of new ones. And the most powerful tool at your disposal is the same one that created your reality in the first place, your mind. Let's get clear. Your mind operates on two levels, the conscious and the subconscious. The conscious mind is your logical, analytical self, the part that makes plans, sets goals, and tries to think positive. But here's the catch. Your conscious mind only controls about 5% of your life. The remaining 95% is driven by your subconscious programming, the invisible patterns, beliefs, and emotions that run automatically beneath the surface. It's like a silent operating system dictating your behaviors, decisions, and even the opportunities you notice. That's why you can read every success book, repeat affirmations, and set massive goals, yet still feel stuck. Because until you change the subconscious code, the story you tell yourself about who you are and what you deserve, nothing changes for long. The law of mental reprogramming is simple. You become what you repeatedly think and emotionally accept as true. Millionaires know this. They don't just hope to be rich. They train their minds to expect it, to believe it, to vibrate at the frequency of abundance until it becomes their new default state. This is not metaphysical fantasy. It's psychological reality. Neuroscientists have proven that the brain can't distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. That means when you imagine success repeatedly, with emotion and conviction, your brain wires new neural pathways that make success feel normal. Let's look at Elon Musk. Before he built Tesla or SpaceX, he was a young man reading science fiction and imagining interplanetary travel. People called him crazy. But that vision, that inner movie he replayed daily, reprogrammed his brain to operate from a future reality, not a current limitation. Every decision he made came from that new mental identity. He wasn't chasing wealth, he was embodying innovation and possibility. And money followed naturally, as it always does to those who think in expansion, not survival. The key is repetition. Your subconscious mind learns through emotion and repetition, not logic. If you tell yourself once that you're successful, your brain won't believe you. But if you say it with feeling, visualize it, act on it, and repeat it daily, your subconscious starts to accept it as truth. That's why millionaires are often ritualistic. They have morning routines, gratitude practices, visualizations, or affirmations they repeat without fail. They're not doing it for motivation, they're doing it for reprogramming. Here's how it works. Every thought you think creates an electrical signal in your brain. Every emotion you feel reinforces it chemically. Over time, these signals and emotions form networks, clusters of neurons that fire together. The more they fire, the stronger they become. If you keep thinking thoughts like, "I'm broke," "I can't do this," "it's too hard," you're strengthening the neural networks of scarcity. But when you start thinking, "I'm learning to attract wealth easily," "I create value everywhere I go," "money flows to me naturally," you're literally wiring your brain for prosperity. That's the law of mental reprogramming. Repetition plus emotion equals transformation. Let's take another example. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Before he became a world champion bodybuilder, movie star, and governor, he lived in a small village in Austria. But he didn't see himself as poor or limited. He said, "I saw myself so clearly being a champion that I couldn't imagine any other reality." He visualized his future every day, and his subconscious began to believe it. When he trained, it wasn't just muscles growing, it was identity. And when identity changes, destiny follows. The same is true for Warren Buffett. While most investors operate from fear and scarcity, Buffett operates from clarity and calm. He's trained his mind not to react emotionally to markets, but to act from a state of abundance and patience. That's mental mastery, and it's built over time through awareness, repetition, and emotional regulation. Now, let's bring this to you. Over the next 30 days, you'll begin reprogramming your mind for abundance, not by forcing results, but by aligning your inner patterns with your desired reality. Here's the process in simple terms. Every morning, before you look at your phone or talk to anyone, sit quietly for 5 minutes. Visualize the version of you who already lives in abundance. See where you live, how you feel, what you wear, how you speak. Imagine opening your bank app and seeing the balance that excites you. Feel the gratitude and certainty in your chest as if it's already real. This isn't fantasy, it's neural rehearsal. Then, throughout the day, become aware of your self-talk. When you catch yourself saying, "I can't afford that," change it to, "I'm finding new ways to create wealth." When you think, "This is hard," shift it to, "Every day I'm getting better at managing money and opportunities." You're not lying to yourself. You're retraining your subconscious to see possibilities instead of limitations. At night, before you sleep, replay your visualization again, because your subconscious is most receptive in that drowsy, half-awake state. That's when it accepts new ideas easily, without resistance. Repeat this daily for 30 days, and you'll notice subtle but powerful shifts. You'll start feeling more confident about money, you'll notice new opportunities, and you'll naturally begin acting like the person you imagined. That's not coincidence. That's neural alignment in action. But remember, reprogramming is not instant. It's a process of consistent emotional repetition. Just like going to the gym, you don't get results in one session. But if you stay consistent, transformation is inevitable. The difference is that now you're training the most powerful muscle of all, your mind. Every millionaire you admire has done this in some way. Steve Jobs visualized Apple's future before anyone believed in it. Richard Branson imagined Virgin's empire before it existed. Oprah imagined her network when all she had was a talk show. They weren't reacting to life. They were designing it mentally first. That's the secret. The outer world always reflects the inner one. When your inner world is programmed for abundance, everything external rearranges to match it. People call it luck, timing, or coincidence, but it's none of those. It's alignment. So as you move forward, understand this. You're no longer trying to get rich. You're reprogramming yourself to become rich in thought, emotion, and vibration. You're learning to think in possibility, to expect wealth, and to act from a sense of inner abundance. When that becomes your normal, wealth becomes inevitable. This is the law of mental reprogramming. And once you master it, the universe starts responding differently. Not because it changes, but because you do. Topic 3. The emotional frequency of wealth. The secret emotional states that attract money. If the previous topic was about rewiring the mind, this one is about recalibrating the heart. Because mindset alone isn't enough. Emotion is the magnetic field that turns thought into reality. You can think of wealth, visualize success, and repeat affirmations all day long. But if you feel doubt, fear, or unworthiness inside, the vibration you're sending out tells the universe, "I'm not ready." Emotion is energy, and energy attracts energy. The frequency you live in determines what you magnetize. Every successful person on this planet has learned to master their emotional frequency. They've realized that prosperity isn't a goal to achieve, it's a vibration to align with. That's why some people seem to attract opportunities effortlessly. They've trained themselves to feel abundant before the money arrives. They don't wait for the external world to confirm their worth. They create that feeling first and watch the world adjust accordingly. Think about it this way. Emotions are like radio waves. You can only receive the station that matches the frequency you're tuned into. If you're constantly feeling anxious, frustrated, or fearful about money, you're tuned to the frequency of lack. And that's all you'll experience. But when you shift into gratitude, confidence, joy, and certainty, you begin to transmit the frequency of abundance. And the law of resonance says, what you send out, you receive back amplified. Let's look at a few real examples. Take Oprah Winfrey again. She once said, "The more thankful I became, the more my wealth increased." Gratitude became her emotional foundation. She didn't start practicing gratitude after she became wealthy. It was the emotion that created her wealth. She understood that when you feel grateful, you are affirming abundance. You're saying to the universe, "I already have enough, and I'm ready for more." Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's possible, and that's when everything begins to expand. Or consider Tony Robbins. His entire career is built around mastering emotional states. He teaches that your external results are a mirror of your internal energy. Every morning, he does a priming ritual, breathing, movement, visualization, and gratitude to enter a peak state. Why? Because he knows that emotion precedes performance. When your emotional state rises, your results follow. The same action taken in fear produces failure. Taken in faith, it produces fortune. Science agrees. Researchers at the HeartMath Institute have shown that the heart generates an electromagnetic field that is much stronger than the brain's. This field changes based on your emotions. When you feel gratitude, love, or appreciation, your heart's rhythm becomes coherent, harmonious, and this coherence positively affects your brain, your nervous system, and even your environment. You literally become a walking magnet of coherent energy, and people, opportunities, and ideas begin to resonate with you. Now, let's make this practical. How do you shift your emotional frequency to attract wealth? First, recognize the emotions that block abundance: fear, scarcity, resentment, guilt, and unworthiness. These emotions signal your subconscious that money is unsafe or undeserved. That's why when people win the lottery without emotional alignment, they often lose it all, because their vibration never matched their new reality. You can't hold on to what your energy rejects. The key is to elevate your emotional baseline. Start each day by consciously creating feelings of abundance before anything happens. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and ask, what would it feel like if everything I desire were already mine? Feel the calm confidence, the gratitude, the joy of having enough. Don't force it. Imagine it gently until your body begins to believe it. You're training your nervous system to associate money with peace, not stress. Another powerful emotion is certainty. Millionaires don't hope things will work. They decide they will. This emotional certainty is like gravity. It pulls everything toward it. Look at Jeff Bezos. Before Amazon dominated the world, he told investors, "It's day one." That statement wasn't logical. It was emotional. It carried the vibration of unwavering belief. He acted as if success was inevitable, not someday, but now. That feeling of inevitability is the emotional frequency that builds empires. Then there's joy. Joy is the emotional signature of flow. When you do what you love, when you express your gifts, you naturally attract wealth because you're adding energy to the collective field. Money is a byproduct of value, and value is amplified when it's delivered with joy. Steve Jobs often said, "The only way to do great work is to love what you do." That's not just advice, it's quantum alignment. Passion raises your frequency, and high frequency always attracts abundance. One more crucial state: forgiveness. Many people block prosperity because they carry resentment toward others, their past, or even themselves. Forgiveness clears the emotional clutter that keeps you stuck in low vibration. When you release blame, you free up energy for creation. You stop fighting your past and start building your future. Now you might wonder, Can emotions alone make me rich? The answer is no, but they create the conditions where wealth can flourish. Without the right emotional state, no amount of action works long-term. Emotion is the soil, action is the seed. Planting seeds in dry, fearful soil never produces fruit. But when your emotions are aligned, grateful, joyful, certain, and loving, every action multiplies. That's why people who feel rich before they are eventually become rich. Their energy makes them magnetic. The world responds to their inner confidence, to their calm sense of abundance. People trust them, opportunities find them, and ideas flow easily to them. Their emotional frequency opens doors that logic never could. So here's your practice for the next 30 days. Every morning, choose your emotional frequency before you do anything else. Don't let your circumstances dictate your vibration. Let your vibration dictate your circumstances. If you wake up feeling anxious, pause, breathe, shift. Remember that you are not your emotions. You are the creator of them. Play a song that makes you feel powerful. Move your body. Say out loud, "Today I'm tuned to abundance, and everything I do flows with prosperity." Then act from that vibration throughout the day. Because this is how millionaires live, not by chasing feelings, but by creating them intentionally. They know that success isn't an accident, it's a frequency. And when you hold that frequency long enough, reality has no choice but to match it. The emotional frequency of wealth isn't hidden. It's gratitude, joy, faith, certainty, love, and purpose, lived consistently until they become your new normal. When that happens, wealth doesn't just visit your life, it stays. Topic 4. The power of belief. How to install unshakable confidence in your future success. There's a moment in every millionaire's journey when belief becomes the turning point. When logic says it's impossible, but something deep inside whispers, "Do it anyway." That inner voice, that unwavering certainty, is the foundation of every fortune, every breakthrough, and every story of success you've ever heard. Belief isn't just a mindset, it's a creative force. It shapes perception, directs behavior, and commands reality to align with it. The truth is, your life will always rise or fall to the level of your belief. You can have the best strategy, the most detailed plan, and unlimited potential. But if you don't believe you're capable, deserving, and destined for abundance, your subconscious will find a way to sabotage it. That's why belief is the secret architecture behind every great success story. Let's get brutally honest for a second. Most people think they believe in themselves, but what they really believe in are their limitations. They say things like, "I want to be rich," yet deep down, they still think, "It's too hard, I'm not good enough," or "People like me never make it." Those hidden beliefs act like an anchor. No matter how hard they try to sail toward success, the ship never moves. Because your subconscious doesn't manifest what you want. It manifests what you believe to be true. So how do you change that? How do you install a new, unshakable belief system that aligns with your millionaire destiny? You start by understanding that belief is not something you find. It's something you build. And it's built through repetition, experience, and emotional proof. Let's take a look at one of the most powerful real-life examples, Henry Ford. When Ford first proposed building an affordable car for the masses, every engineer he hired told him it was impossible. "A low-cost engine that powerful can't be made," they said. Ford didn't argue. He simply said, "Build it anyway." Months turned into years, and his team grew frustrated, insisting it couldn't be done. But Ford held the belief so firmly that they kept trying, and eventually the V8 engine was born. The very invention that revolutionized the automobile industry. His belief didn't follow results, it created them. That's the power of unwavering belief. It bends reality to fit your conviction. Think about Thomas Edison. He failed over 10,000 times before creating the light bulb. When asked how it felt to fail so much, he said, "I didn't fail. I discovered 10,000 ways that didn't work." That mindset is pure millionaire psychology. Failure didn't destroy his belief. It strengthened it. Because belief is not built when everything works. It's built when everything doesn't work and you persist anyway. Jim Carrey did the same. Before he was famous, broke, and struggling in Los Angeles, he used to drive up to Mulholland Drive, look out over the city, and visualize directors calling him with opportunities. He felt it as real, not as fantasy. He wrote himself a $10 million check for acting services rendered, kept it in his wallet, and believed it so completely that life eventually matched that belief. The exact amount arrived almost to the date. Coincidence? No. Consciousness in action. Belief is a psychological and energetic command. When you truly believe in something, your entire nervous system aligns with it. Your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors fall into harmony, and you start noticing things you never saw before: ideas, people, and opportunities. That's called reticular activation, a brain mechanism that filters reality to show you what matches your internal beliefs. If you believe opportunities are everywhere, your brain will literally reveal them. But if you believe I never get lucky, your brain will hide them, even if they're right in front of you. To install unshakable belief, you must train your mind daily, like an athlete. Start by identifying the old beliefs that no longer serve you. Write them down. Then ask, is this belief based on truth or on fear? Because most limiting beliefs are not truths. They're emotional leftovers from past failures or conditioning. They were installed by people who didn't know better. You have the power to uninstall them now. Next, create new beliefs that serve your vision. But here's the secret. Don't just write them, feel them. The brain learns through emotion. So when you say, I am destined for abundance, say it with conviction. When you say, I'm capable of extraordinary success, let your body feel what that version of you would feel. Repeat this daily, especially in moments of doubt. Because belief is like a muscle. It grows with resistance. And here's something most people don't realize. Belief is contagious. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, who talk about vision, expansion, and growth. Energy is transferable. Spend enough time around small thinkers, and your dreams will shrink. But spend time with people who stretch your vision, and your beliefs will expand. That's why every successful entrepreneur, artist, and leader carefully curates their environment, because belief thrives where possibility lives. One more truth. The universe doesn't respond to half belief. It doesn't move for maybe or I hope. It moves for certainty. The kind of certainty that says, I don't care how long it takes. This is happening. When you send that signal through your thoughts and emotions, life begins to rearrange in your favor. Doors open, people appear, timing aligns. It looks like magic, but it's simply belief activating potential. Look at J.K. Rowling. Before Harry Potter became a phenomenon, she was a single mother living on welfare, rejected by 12 publishers. But she never doubted the story. She said, I had to believe in myself because nobody else did. That belief, stubborn, unreasonable, and fierce, changed her destiny. So here's your practice for the next 30 days. Decide what you want and believe it's already in motion. Don't wait for external validation. Act as if it's already real. Speak it, feel it, live it. When doubts arise, and they will, respond with faith, not fear. Say to yourself, everything I desire is already finding its way to me. Because that's how you train your subconscious to obey your vision, not your fear. Belief is the root of creation. You can't fake it, but you can forge it. You forge it by showing up every day, trusting your vision, and refusing to quit when nothing seems to work. Every time you act in faith, you strengthen the circuitry of success inside your brain. And soon, that belief becomes unshakable. Not because life got easier, but because you became stronger. When you reach that level, nothing outside of you can stop you. Not rejection, not failure, not doubt. Because you've discovered what every millionaire knows. The outer world is a reflection of your inner certainty. And when belief becomes your natural state, success stops being a possibility. It becomes your destiny. Topic 5. Visualization, imagination, and quantum creation. How thoughts become tangible reality. Everything that exists in your life right now, your job, your income, your home, your habits, even the way you feel about yourself, began as an image in your mind. Before anything becomes physical, it is first created in the invisible world of thought and imagination. That's not philosophy, that's physics. The mind is the blueprint, and reality is the construction site. And if you want to build wealth, you must first see it internally before it can appear externally. The power of visualization has been known by every successful person in history. Napoleon Hill called it the theater of the mind. He said that all wealth begins as an idea that must be held, visualized, and emotionalized until it takes physical form. Modern neuroscience now confirms what Hill taught decades ago. The brain cannot distinguish between an imagined experience and a real one. When you visualize vividly, with emotion, your brain fires the same neural circuits as if the event were actually happening. That means, through imagination, you can literally rehearse success into existence. Think about Olympic athletes. Before they compete, they spend hours visualizing their performance, every movement, every breath, every emotion. Why? Because visualization programs the nervous system for execution. They've already won in their minds before the race begins. That's why when they step on the track, it feels familiar. The same is true for millionaires. They visualize success so often that when it happens, it feels like déjà vu. Take Jim Carrey again. When he drove up to Mulholland Drive every night, he didn't just dream. He felt the reality of his success. He imagined directors shaking his hand, audiences laughing, checks being written. He merged thought with feeling. That combination is key because the universe doesn't respond to idle thoughts. It responds to emotionally charged vision. Emotion gives thought its creative power. It's the signal that tells reality. This matters. Let's talk about the science behind it. Every thought you think is energy. Energy vibrates at a frequency, and that frequency attracts similar frequencies. That's not mystical, it's electromagnetic resonance. Quantum physics shows that particles behave differently when observed. Consciousness itself influences matter. What you consistently focus on, with emotional intensity, starts organizing the quantum field in your favor. The clearer your inner image, the faster the outer world reshapes around it. That's why the world's wealthiest people are visionaries before they are achievers. Elon Musk saw reusable rockets before anyone believed it was possible. Walt Disney imagined a magical world before a single brick of Disneyland existed. Oprah visualized her television network long before she owned one. They weren't daydreaming. They were programming reality through imagination. The mistake most people make is thinking that visualization is wishful thinking, that you just sit and imagine and wait for miracles. But visualization is not passive, it's preparation. When you visualize, you're training your subconscious to recognize opportunities that match your image. You're teaching your brain what to look for. That's why when you set a clear mental picture, coincidences start appearing. A person you needed to meet, a book, a conversation, an idea. These aren't coincidences at all. They're the outer reflections of an inner alignment. Now, here's how you do it correctly. Visualization must be specific, emotional, and repetitive. Specific means you need details. Don't just see money. See yourself opening your laptop to a business report showing your revenue growth. Feel the excitement as you receive a message of gratitude from a client. Hear the sounds, smell the air, imagine the scene as if it's happening now. The more senses you involve, the more real it becomes to your subconscious. Emotional means you must feel it. Imagine what your body feels like in that version of your life. Feel the gratitude, the peace, the freedom. The emotion is the magnetic charge. It tells your subconscious, this is real, make it happen. Repetition means consistency. Do it daily, morning and night, because repetition carves new neural pathways until your brain accepts the image as reality. Here's a powerful practice used by many high achievers, the mental movie technique. Every day, spend 5 minutes playing a movie in your mind where you're the main character living your dream life. See yourself walking with confidence, making decisions from abundance, celebrating victories, impacting others. Replay this movie until it feels natural. Eventually, your subconscious will start guiding you to act like the person in that movie. That's when life starts mirroring your inner script. Visualization also dissolves fear. When you mentally experience success before it happens, the unknown becomes familiar. The brain stops perceiving it as a threat and starts seeing it as home. That's why visualization isn't just creative, it's therapeutic. It reprograms your nervous system for certainty. Let's consider one more real-life story. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Before winning Mr. Olympia, before Hollywood, before politics, he said, "I visualized myself being and having what it was I wanted. I created a vision of who I wanted to be, and then I lived into that picture." That's not exaggeration. That's neuroplasticity in motion. His brain literally built the version of himself he imagined. Now let's connect this to the quantum level. Everything in the universe exists as energy. waves of potential waiting to collapse into form. Your attention, focused thought, and emotion is what collapses that potential into reality. You are constantly creating through observation and focus. Most people do this unconsciously. They visualize fear, scarcity, and failure without realizing it. The mind doesn't care what you visualize. It simply makes it familiar. So the question is, what images are you rehearsing daily? Are they expanding your reality or repeating your limitations? When you visualize success, you begin to change your energetic signature. People feel it. Opportunities align with it. You start noticing synchronicities, the right person calling at the right time, a sudden idea that solves a problem, a deal that unexpectedly works out. These are not accidents. They're the echoes of your internal movie playing in the external world. For the next 30 days, commit to 5 minutes of vivid visualization every morning and night. Don't rush it. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and enter your new life. Don't say, someday. Feel it now. Walk through your dream home in your imagination. Hear the laughter of people you've helped. Feel the calm certainty of financial freedom. Let that version of you guide your actions throughout the day. Because here's the ultimate truth. You don't get what you want. You get what you see and feel consistently. Visualization isn't pretending. It's remembering your future. It's pulling tomorrow into today through the power of focus. Every empire, every fortune, every miracle began as a single image in someone's mind. And if you hold your vision long enough, reality has no choice but to catch up. Topic 6. The discipline of prosperity. How habits and consistency rewire your identity. Here's a truth that separates dreamers from achievers. Mindset without discipline is potential without power. You can visualize, affirm, and imagine all you want. But if your daily habits don't align with your vision, nothing changes. Discipline is the bridge between thought and manifestation. It's the proof that your inner transformation is real. You don't attract wealth by wishing for it. You attract it by becoming the kind of person who naturally lives it through action, structure, and consistency. Prosperity isn't a one-time event. It's a rhythm, a pattern that repeats daily, quietly, behind the scenes. Every millionaire, every visionary, every person who's built an empire from scratch has one thing in common. They live by habits that reinforce abundance. Their routines are rituals of prosperity. Small, intentional actions repeated so many times they become automatic. That's not coincidence. That's neuroscience. You see, the brain loves patterns. It seeks familiarity. Whatever you repeat consistently, good or bad, becomes your identity. If you repeat thoughts of lack, you strengthen neural circuits of scarcity. But if you repeat habits of growth, learning, and discipline, your brain wires for expansion. Over time, these habits stop being something you do and become who you are. And when that happens, success stops being effort. It becomes identity. Let's look at real examples. Warren Buffett reads 5 to 6 hours a day. He says, knowledge compounds just like money. That habit of consistent learning has made him one of the richest men in the world, not because of luck, but because daily growth became part of who he is. Elon Musk works in structured focus blocks, relentlessly improving systems and details. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson wakes up before sunrise to train, long before filming or meetings. He doesn't do it for discipline's sake. He does it because it keeps his mindset sharp and his identity anchored in strength and consistency. Habits are not about control. They're about freedom. Every disciplined action you take gives you more freedom tomorrow. Think about it. Financial freedom is built on the discipline of saving and investing. Emotional freedom is built on the discipline of self-control and gratitude. Time freedom is built on the discipline of priorities. When you're disciplined, you're not restricting yourself. You're constructing yourself. But let's be real. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's showing up when you don't feel like it. It's repeating your affirmations when results are invisible. It's staying committed to your 30-day visualization practice, even when nothing external has changed yet. But that's exactly when transformation is happening, in the invisible. Every act of discipline rewires your subconscious with a message. I am consistent. I am capable. I am trustworthy. And that identity shift is priceless. Neuroscience confirms it. Every time you repeat a behavior, you strengthen neural pathways in your brain. Over time, repetition builds efficiency. What was once difficult becomes automatic. That's why habits compound. They create exponential results through momentum. The more you practice success behaviors, the less effort it takes. Eventually, discipline turns into desire. You stop forcing yourself to act successful. You feel like acting successful because it's who you've become. So, what kind of habits create a millionaire mindset? Let's look at the foundation. Millionaires have habits that feed their mind, body, and spirit. They read daily, not just about money, but about psychology, leadership, and human behavior. They protect their mornings. No random scrolling or chaos first thing. Instead, they meditate, visualize, or exercise. They plan their days intentionally, knowing that time is the currency of achievement. They track progress. They express gratitude. They take calculated risks. They keep promises to themselves. And they do it all not for perfection, but for progress. Think about someone like Kobe Bryant. He said, "I don't negotiate with myself." That statement is the essence of prosperity discipline. Most people waste energy debating whether to do what they said they'd do. Millionaires don't. They've trained their identity to act regardless of mood, and that's why they win. They don't let feelings dictate action. They let commitment create results. There's a principle called the compound effect, popularized by Darren Hardy, which says small actions repeated daily create massive results over time. Missing one workout, one investment, or one visualization doesn't seem like much, but it compounds. Every choice either deposits into your prosperity account or withdraws from it. You're either reinforcing the identity of a millionaire or the identity of mediocrity. Every decision, every habit, every day counts. Now, here's the secret few understand. Discipline is not punishment, it's self-respect. When you keep promises to yourself, you build trust with your subconscious mind. You start believing that when you say you'll do something, it gets done. That trust builds confidence, and confidence builds momentum. Momentum builds miracles. Look at Oprah again. She once said, "The way you do anything is the way you do everything." Her discipline isn't about control, it's about alignment. She keeps her space organized, her energy centered, her mornings sacred, because she knows success flows through order. Energy flows where attention goes, and discipline directs attention. But let's also talk about compassion. Discipline without self-compassion becomes self-sabotage. You're not building habits to prove your worth. You're building them to express your worth. So, when you miss a day, don't punish yourself. Reset, realign. Remember the bigger picture. Prosperity is a long-term vibration, not a single event. The mind loves consistency, not perfection. For the next 30 days, design a prosperity routine. Simple, clear, and aligned with your goals. Start your morning with gratitude or meditation. Spend 10 minutes visualizing your millionaire self. Read a few pages of something that expands your mind, move your body, and at night, reflect. Ask yourself, did my actions today match my future identity? If the answer is yes, celebrate. If not, adjust tomorrow. That's how identity is rewired, through awareness and action. Because at the end of the day, habits are your destiny in motion. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. When your systems are built on prosperity, wealth becomes inevitable. When your daily routine reflects your desired identity, the universe responds accordingly. So, build habits that mirror your millionaire future. Be consistent even when no one's watching. Trust that every disciplined act is a brick in the foundation of your empire. And one day soon, you'll look around and realize the life you used to imagine has become your normal reality. That's the quiet power of discipline. It doesn't shout, but it transforms. It turns dreams into data, vision into victory, and potential into prosperity. Topic 7. Money and self-image. Why you can't earn beyond your internal worth. Here's one of the deepest truths about money that most people never realize. You will never earn more than you believe you're worth. It doesn't matter how intelligent, talented, or hardworking you are. Your income will always rise or fall to match your self-image. You can't outperform your identity. You might temporarily exceed it, but sooner or later, your inner thermostat pulls you back to the level of wealth you subconsciously feel you deserve. Think of your self-image like a financial thermostat installed in your subconscious mind. If it's set to survival, you'll unconsciously attract just enough to survive. If it's set to comfort, You'll make enough to feel stable, but never free. But if it's set to prosperity, you'll naturally find ways to multiply and sustain abundance. Because wealth isn't luck, it's alignment. The reason so many people struggle with money isn't that they lack opportunity. It's that they haven't upgraded the image they hold of themselves. Somewhere deep inside, they still see themselves as the person who struggles, who isn't good with money, who has to work twice as hard for half as much. That internal movie runs on repeat, and no matter how much outer effort they apply, it cancels out progress. You can't deposit prosperity into a self-image programmed for lack. Let's take a look at how this plays out. Imagine someone who suddenly wins the lottery. They receive millions overnight, but within a few years, statistics show that over 70% of lottery winners lose it all. Why? Because their external reality changed faster than their internal one. Their mind was still programmed for scarcity, fear, and unworthiness, and that vibration unconsciously recreated the same chaos they had before, only with bigger numbers. Their self-image couldn't sustain abundance. Now, flip the script. Think about people who lost everything and rebuilt. Entrepreneurs who went bankrupt and came back stronger. The difference? Their self-image never fell. They knew they were capable, resourceful, and worthy. So even when their circumstances collapsed, their identity pulled them back to success. That's the magnetic pull of self-perception. Let's bring in an example you know. Oprah Winfrey. Long before she became a billionaire, she was a young woman from Mississippi who endured poverty and trauma. But she always said she never saw herself as poor, only as temporarily out of money. Her self-image was anchored in worth, not circumstance. She saw herself as powerful, valuable, and destined for more. That vision guided every choice she made. The money didn't change her worth changed the money. Or look at Howard Schultz, the man who built Starbucks. He grew up in a housing project in Brooklyn, watching his father struggle with low-wage jobs. But Schultz developed an inner image of dignity and excellence. He believed ordinary people deserved extraordinary experiences. That belief, rooted in self-worth, turned a small coffee shop into a global empire. He didn't just sell coffee, he sold the feeling of significance he once wished his father had. The link between money and self-image is also backed by psychology. Dr. Maxwell Maltz, author of Psycho-Cybernetics, discovered that people can't consistently act in a way that's inconsistent with their self-image. He was a plastic surgeon who noticed that even after physical transformations, some patients still saw themselves as unattractive or unworthy. Their outer reality changed, but their inner picture didn't, and so they kept living from the old identity. The same happens financially. You can change your job, your strategy, or your bank account, but until you change the way you see yourself, you'll always return to your emotional baseline. So, how do you upgrade your financial self-image? It begins with awareness. Pay attention to the thoughts that come up when you think about wealth. Do you feel guilty, nervous, or undeserving? Those emotions are clues that your internal worth is capped. Catch the beliefs that sound like, "I'm not ready for that much money," "I don't need that level of success," or "rich people have to sacrifice their happiness." These are mental viruses that keep your self-image small. Recognize them, thank them for trying to protect you, and release them. They are not truths. They are echoes of old programming. Then, consciously build a new image. Every day, imagine the version of you who already feels worthy of abundance. How does that person walk, speak, make decisions, spend time, and treat money? What do they believe about themselves? Visualize that version clearly and act as if you already are them. Each time you embody that new identity, even in small ways, you signal to your subconscious, "This is who I am now." Over time, that becomes your new default. Another powerful tool is self-appreciation. Most people are quick to celebrate others, but slow to acknowledge themselves. Start recognizing your wins, even the smallest ones. Each time you do, you reinforce the belief that you're competent and capable. That builds confidence, and confidence magnetizes wealth. And remember, worthiness isn't something you earn, it's something you reclaim. You were born worthy. The world may have taught you otherwise, but that was conditioning, not truth. The more you live from worthiness, the more wealth flows easily, because worthiness dissolves resistance. You stop chasing validation and start creating from power. Look at the greatest wealth creators. People like Richard Branson, Sarah Blakely, and Elon Musk. They all share one trait: an unshakable sense of self. They believe in their ideas so deeply that the world eventually believes with them. That's self-image in action, inner certainty projecting outward until reality mirrors it. Here's a simple exercise to start today. Write a new money identity statement. And begin with, "I am the kind of person who," and fill in the blanks with beliefs that describe your prosperous self. I am the kind of person who attracts opportunities easily. I am the kind of person who manages money with wisdom. I am the kind of person who multiplies value everywhere I go. Repeat it daily. Say it with conviction. Act like it's true, because your subconscious doesn't respond to what's real. It responds to what's repeated. In 30 days of doing this, something extraordinary happens. Your outer world starts catching up to your inner world. You'll begin to notice synchronicities, unexpected money, new opportunities, more confidence in negotiations, better relationships. These are signs that your vibration and self-image are rising together. Because wealth isn't about numbers, it's about identity. Once you expand your self-image, you'll realize money was never the goal. It was the mirror. And when you finally see yourself as worthy, capable, and abundant, not someday, but now, everything outside of you starts reflecting that truth back. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. So become wealth in thought, word, and self-perception. The rest will follow effortlessly. Topic 8. The Millionaire Environment. How to surround yourself with the frequency of wealth. No matter how strong your mindset is, you cannot thrive long-term in an environment that constantly reinforces limitation. Your surroundings, the people you spend time with, the spaces you inhabit, the information you consume, all act as silent architects of your reality. You might think you're in control of your thoughts, but your environment shapes your frequency far more than you realize. That's why every person who has built real, lasting wealth has been intentional about one thing: their environment. Because prosperity doesn't grow in toxic soil. Think of your mind like a garden. Every thought is a seed, and your environment is the climate. Even the most powerful seeds won't sprout in the wrong conditions. You could have all the right affirmations, the best plans, and the strongest work ethic. But if your environment keeps pulling you back into fear, gossip, negativity, and scarcity, those seeds of abundance never take root. You must cultivate an environment that matches the vibration of your goals. Here's the truth: you become like the people you spend the most time with. Science calls this social mirroring. Your brain's mirror neurons imitate the emotions, habits, and energy of those around you. If you surround yourself with people who complain about money, hate their jobs, and see success as unattainable, your subconscious will absorb that frequency like a sponge. But if you're around people who talk about opportunities, solutions, and expansion, your vibration naturally rises to match theirs. Energy is contagious. That's why successful people are deliberate about their circle. They choose to be around visionaries, creators, and thinkers who inspire action. They seek mentors, not just friends. They surround themselves with people who normalize excellence. When you're in a room where wealth is common, abundance stops feeling like a dream and starts feeling like your baseline. You stop asking, "Is it possible?" and start asking, "How do I expand it?" Let's look at a few examples. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak didn't build Apple in isolation. They were part of a small network of engineers in Silicon Valley who believed technology could change the world. Their environment was fertile with innovation, risk-taking, and forward-thinking. The conversations they had shaped their beliefs. They weren't competing with mediocrity, they were inspired by possibility. Or consider Oprah Winfrey again. Her entire career is built around creating empowering environments, from her television network to her Leadership Academy for Girls. She knows that when you surround people with belief, vision, and love, they rise to meet it. Environments either drain your potential or multiply it. Oprah designed hers to multiply. The same is true for Elon Musk. He built companies like Tesla and SpaceX by creating cultures obsessed with possibility. He doesn't hire people who just do a job. He hires those who see themselves as pioneers. That environment of high expectation, innovation, and belief amplifies everyone's potential. Because when you're surrounded by people who believe the impossible is possible, your subconscious starts treating it as normal. Now, your millionaire environment isn't just about people, it's also about what you feed your mind. What do you watch, read, and listen to? Is your content filled with negativity and distraction, or inspiration and knowledge? Every book, video, and podcast you consume programs your subconscious. Millionaires treat content like nutrition. They feed their minds with ideas that expand their thinking. And let's not forget your physical environment. Look around your space. Does it reflect abundance or chaos? Is it organized, inspiring, and intentional? You don't need luxury to feel rich. You need order. Clean spaces create mental clarity. Beautiful environments elevate emotional energy. When you care for your surroundings, you're sending a message to your subconscious. I deserve beauty, peace, and abundance. That vibration multiplies. Another key factor is geography. Sometimes changing your environment means changing your location, even temporarily. There's a reason people move to cities of innovation, creativity, or prosperity. Environments hold energy. When you're in a place that vibrates with ambition, you feel it. It pushes you forward. And even if you can't move physically, you can change your virtual environment. Join online communities of growth-minded people. Follow mentors who expand your perspective. Fill your digital space with the frequency of success. But let's talk about the hardest part: leaving behind environments that no longer serve you. This can mean relationships, workplaces, or social circles that keep you small. Growth often requires separation. It's painful, but necessary. Not everyone will understand your journey, and that's okay. You're not abandoning them. You're aligning with your future. Remember, you can't fly while clinging to anchors. If you want to know your financial future, look at your circle. Are the people around you talking about dreams or drama? Are they feeding your growth or your doubts? Jim Rohn said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." That's not just a quote. It's neuroscience. Your nervous system calibrates to your environment. If you spend time with millionaires, you start thinking, acting, and making decisions like one. Here's a simple practice. Audit your environment. For 1 week, notice who you talk to, what you listen to, what spaces you enter. Ask yourself, does this raise or lower my vibration? If it lowers it, limit it. If it raises it, multiply it. Replace gossip with gratitude. Replace noise with silence. Replace criticism with learning. Small environmental shifts create massive energetic changes. You can also design micro-environments within your day that support prosperity. A quiet corner for meditation, a workspace that inspires focus, a playlist that boosts your vibration, a morning walk that connects you with clarity. Each moment becomes a signal to your subconscious that you're living in abundance already. Because prosperity is not just a mindset, it's an atmosphere. You can feel it when you walk into certain rooms. You can sense it when you talk to certain people. And the moment you align your outer world with your inner vision, you create a magnetic field that attracts more of the same energy. You don't chase opportunities anymore. They find you because you're living at the frequency they belong to. So protect your environment fiercely. Curate your circle intentionally. Decorate your life with inspiration, order, and gratitude. You don't have to be rich to live richly. You just have to surround yourself with energy that reflects your future, not your past. When your environment matches your vision, success stops feeling like effort. It becomes the natural consequence of the frequency you inhabit. Topic 9. Gratitude, faith, and flow. The emotional trinity that magnetizes prosperity. There are 3 emotional forces that form the heart of every millionaire mindset: gratitude, faith, and flow. Together, they create the vibration that magnetizes wealth, unlocks creativity, and transforms effort into ease. You can have the right strategy, the right network, and the right habits. But without these 3 emotional pillars, your success will always feel like a struggle. Gratitude grounds you, faith empowers you, and flow carries you. Let's start with gratitude, because it is the foundation of all prosperity. Gratitude is not just saying thank you, it's a state of being, a frequency that tells the universe, I already have everything I need, and I'm open for more. When you live in gratitude, you stop vibrating lack. You stop focusing on what's missing and start expanding what's working. It's one of the most practical spiritual tools that exist. Every truly wealthy person understands this. Oprah Winfrey, one of the most influential figures in modern history, often says that gratitude was her bridge from poverty to abundance. Before she became famous, she would write daily lists of everything she was thankful for, even simple things like a warm meal or a good conversation. She said, "The more I focused on gratitude, the more blessings flowed into my life." Gratitude changes your focus, and focus changes your frequency. Gratitude also rewires your brain. Neuroscience shows that when you practice gratitude daily, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, the feel-good chemicals, training your mind to look for what's positive. Over time, your entire perception shifts. You stop seeing obstacles and start seeing opportunities. You stop chasing happiness and start living it. Gratitude is the emotional seed from which all prosperity grows. Now, let's talk about faith, the invisible force that turns dreams into destiny. Faith isn't blind optimism or passive hope. It's the inner conviction that what you desire already exists in potential form, and your belief is what brings it into visibility. Faith is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, the spiritual and the physical. It's what allows you to act when logic says, "It's impossible." Every great visionary has lived by faith. Think about Walt Disney. He was fired from his first newspaper job for lacking imagination. He went bankrupt multiple times, mortgaged his house to build Disneyland, and was told it would fail. But he said, "If you can dream it, you can do it." That wasn't just motivation, it was faith in action. Faith doesn't need proof, it creates proof. It says, "Even though I don't see it yet, I know it's coming." Faith is what keeps you walking when results are invisible. It's what sustains you during the gap between intention and manifestation. That gap is where most people quit. They plant the seed and dig it up too soon to check if it's growing. Millionaires don't do that. They water their vision with faith. They understand that manifestation is not about timing, it's about trust. When you trust deeply, you stop forcing outcomes and start allowing them. And that brings us to the third force, flow. Flow is the natural state of alignment where your actions, emotions, and intentions move effortlessly in one direction. It's that feeling when everything just clicks. Ideas come easily, synchronicities appear, time disappears, and success feels organic. Flow is what happens when your outer action and inner vibration are perfectly synchronized. Athletes call it the zone. Artists call it inspiration. Entrepreneurs call it momentum. But spiritually, flow is abundance in motion. It's what happens when you stop resisting life and start cooperating with it. Instead of pushing against reality, you align with it. You trust the rhythm of creation instead of forcing control. That's why people who live in flow often achieve more with less stress, because they're not fighting the current. They are the current. Flow requires one thing: presence. You can't be in flow if you're living in the past or obsessing over the future. The only place prosperity exists is in the now. Every moment is a doorway, but you can't walk through it if your mind is elsewhere. So train yourself to return to presence throughout the day. When you feel anxious or impatient, take a deep breath and say, "Everything is unfolding perfectly for me." That simple sentence shifts you from resistance to flow. Let's connect these three forces: gratitude, faith, and flow, because together they form an energetic circuit. Gratitude roots you in abundance now. Faith keeps you aligned with what's coming next, and flow allows the energy between the two to move freely. Gratitude is the foundation, faith is the bridge, and flow is the movement. When you live in that trinity, you become unstoppable. Imagine waking up each morning in gratitude, truly feeling blessed for what you already have. Then stepping into your day with faith, knowing that everything you desire is on its way, even if it's invisible. And finally, moving through the day in flow, calm, confident, and receptive to opportunities. That's not fantasy. That's the daily rhythm of the world's most successful people. Look at Richard Branson. He's built over 400 companies, yet he approaches business playfully. He says, "Business opportunities are like buses. There's always another one coming." That's gratitude and flow in action, the mindset of abundance. He doesn't panic when things don't go as planned because he trusts the flow of life. He acts, adapts, and enjoys the process. That relaxed confidence is why he keeps attracting more success. Or take Will Smith, who once said, "The universe is not a thing that's going to push you around. It's a thing that's going to respond to your belief in it." That's faith. When you believe, you become a collaborator with the universe, not a competitor against it. Life stops feeling like a battle and starts feeling like a dance. So here's your practice for the next 30 days. Start each morning by writing down 3 things you're grateful for, even if they're small. Then speak one affirmation of faith. Everything I desire is already on its way to me. Throughout the day, practice flow by trusting the timing of things. If something doesn't go your way, instead of forcing it, say, something better is aligning. That single shift will keep your vibration high and your energy clean, because gratitude keeps you grounded. Faith keeps you focused. Flow keeps you free. And when you combine the 3, you step into a magnetic state where prosperity doesn't have to be chased. It simply arrives. That's the emotional trinity of abundance: gratitude for what is, faith in what's coming, and flow with what's unfolding. When you master these, you no longer worry about how or when. You simply know, and that knowing is what makes the invisible visible. Topic 10. The 30-day transformation and final activation. Becoming the architect of your millionaire mindset. Everything you've learned up to this moment, every principle, every realization, every emotion, has been leading you here. This is where knowledge becomes power, where intention becomes movement, and where your millionaire mindset stops being an idea and starts becoming your new identity. Because transformation doesn't happen when you understand something. It happens when you embody it. The next 30 days are not about wishing for change. They're about becoming the kind of person for whom change is inevitable. From this moment on, wealth is no longer something outside of you. It's within you, waiting for permission to express itself through your thoughts, emotions, and daily actions. You've spent years being programmed to think you need to chase success, to work harder, to prove yourself. But the truth is, abundance was never something to find. It was something to remember. Every time you align your mind with gratitude, your emotions with faith, and your actions with consistency, you're remembering what your soul has always known: that you were never meant to live in limitation. The next 30 days are your initiation. Every morning you wake up and choose alignment. Every time you replace fear with faith. Every time you act like the person you want to become. You're building the foundation of your new life. You're training your subconscious to follow your intention instead of your insecurity. You're teaching your nervous system to feel safe in success, calm in uncertainty, and powerful in creation. You're no longer reacting to life. You're directing it. You're no longer waiting for opportunities. You're magnetizing them. You're no longer surviving. You're designing. There will be moments when your old self tries to pull you back. Doubts will whisper, "Nothing's changing." Fear will tempt you to quit. But in those moments, remember, resistance is the proof that transformation is happening. Growth always feels uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar. But discomfort is not a signal to stop. It's a sign you're rewiring the old pattern. The more you lean into it, the more powerful you become. Every time you persist when it's easier to give up, you're sculpting a new identity, one that acts, thinks, and decides like a millionaire long before the money arrives. Wealth isn't something you chase, it's something you calibrate to. It's a vibration you maintain through clarity, gratitude, and purpose. You hold it steady even when the outer world looks uncertain, because you know the invisible always precedes the visible. You trust that every effort, every visualization, every disciplined act is not wasted. It's recorded in the fabric of reality, accumulating momentum until it manifests. Creation isn't about speed, it's about alignment. The universe doesn't respond to need, it responds to certainty. So, when you wake up tomorrow, don't ask, "What should I do to become successful?" Ask, "Who am I choosing to be today?" Because being always precedes doing, and doing always creates having. When you operate from your highest state of being, confident, abundant, worthy, and focused, everything else organizes around you. The calls come, the ideas appear, the timing aligns. Life starts cooperating with you instead of resisting you. That's what it means to live by the success and prosperity code. Not to chase results, but to vibrate at the level where results chase you. At the end of 30 days, you'll realize that the real transformation wasn't about money, success, or status. It was about you, about remembering your creative power, reclaiming your self-worth, and realigning your life with the frequency of prosperity. The old you will fade like a dream you've outgrown. The new you, grounded, clear, powerful, and unstoppable, will feel like home. You won't need to convince anyone of your success. Your presence will speak for itself. You'll radiate a calm certainty that wealth is not what you do. It's who you are. You are the architect of your reality, the author of your story, the designer of your destiny. The moment you decide that truth is final, the world around you begins to reorganize to match it. Everything you've ever desired is already waiting in potential form. It's not asking for more effort, only for more alignment. So walk forward with faith, gratitude, and vision. Act as if you already are what you desire, because in the eyes of the universe, you already are. The blueprint has been written. Now, live it. And when you do, you'll notice something extraordinary. Money will begin to move toward you in ways that defy logic. Ideas, partnerships, synchronicities, all of it will appear effortlessly. You'll step into a rhythm where work feels like purpose and success feels like expression. This is flow. This is coherence. This is the vibration of abundance. You won't just think like a millionaire. You'll become the consciousness that creates millions. So the next 30 days are not a challenge. They're a declaration that you are done being limited by fear, by doubt, by the illusion of lack. You are stepping into your true identity, the one that knows prosperity is your birthright, not your reward. The one that acts not from desperation, but from divine confidence. The one that understands that you are not separate from wealth, you are the source of it. You are not chasing abundance, you are channeling it. And from this moment forward, everything changes. Because the real secret of building a millionaire mindset is not in doing more, it's in becoming more. When you expand your consciousness, you expand your capacity. And when you expand your capacity, you attract everything that matches it. That's how millionaires are made, from the inside out. You are ready, you are powerful, you are infinite. The 30-day transformation begins the moment you decide it does. And when you look back on this moment a month from now, you'll see that this was the day your real life began. The day you stopped dreaming and started becoming. If this message spoke to your soul, if you felt that inner spark that says, "This is my time," then don't let it fade. Anchor it, breathe it, activate it. Subscribe to the Success and Prosperity Code, because this journey doesn't end here, it begins here. Like this video so that its vibration reaches more people ready to awaken. Share it with someone you care about, someone who's ready to step into their power, because prosperity grows when it's multiplied. And before you leave, type one powerful sentence in the comments. I am the architect of my millionaire mindset. Say it with certainty. Feel it. Declare it. Because when you speak those words with conviction, the universe rearranges to honor them. You are not hoping for success anymore. You are embodying it. Welcome to your new reality. The Success and Prosperity Code has officially been activated.